Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good afternoon everybody. It's Friday afternoon, and it looks like it's going to be a quick, fast, and hopefully a relevant update, and I believe it is. Look, there's the Finance Committee in Iraq's parliament. A gentleman by the name of Hamid Al-Haj Rashid confirmed today on the 18th that the federal financial management law contains paragraphs dealing with the governance of the region, not only the governance that are not organized in the region, but collectively the whole region, basically stating that there's articles 27, 28, and 29 of the financial management law with the provinces of the region. And what are they dealing with? They're dealing with the non-oil revenues that go to the federal government. Basically, it delivers 50% of the tax and custom revenues to these provinces. It goes on to say that the Kurdistan region will not be satisfied with this, and certainly this issue will hinder reaching an agreement between Baghdad and Erbil. This sounds terrible, but the truth is, it doesn't sound like it because they don't have any control over this. It's Erbil, Baghdad came to an agreement where Erbil has, relinquished or abandoned their political clout. We'll talk about that. But a lot of times we get articles that say good and bad in the same article. They'll tell you something that's blatantly not true, and then follow up with true things. So you got to be careful in how you read it. It's not easy to fetter out the good and the bad, but the truth is that that's what we have to do here with Militiaman and Crew in our Patreon forum. Plenty of information like this. We banter back and forth in our Discord chat room, so if you decide that you'd like to come visit, that's a great place to be. The Kurdistan Regional Government goes on, it says, we allocated funds to the Finance Committee in 2021 to these provinces in the region, and of course they, like in Suleimania, they accepted them. Erbil refused them. So this article is just kind of a bouncing around a bit of piece, but I find it to be relevant because in the end of the day, we're going to get to the fact is there is good things going on with Erbil and Baghdad. It says the Federal Office of Financial Supervision visited the Kurdistan region to see all the numbers. So they want the numbers, they want the papers related to the oil, they want the numbers and papers related to the non-oil revenues at the Kurdistan region, which means the borders, the taxes, the tariffs, the fees, customs, all of those things. So basically, the federal budget law for last year in 2023 included a condition that the non-oil revenues be delivered to Baghdad, and then 50% of them are supposed to be allocated to these governments that are organized in the region, which includes, quote, border crossings. So that's a pretty big, huge deal. The former Undersecretary of the Finance Ministry in the Ministry of Finance said that the biggest problem in the non-oil revenues in the region, along with the custom revenues, to be the sovereign savings of 50% of them, and the center gets 50, the region gets 50, but the federal government wants to control all revenues, including taxes, tariffs, fees, etc. And you're probably going to find that with the new system, the new unified treasury account, they're probably not going to have any choice in the matter, especially because the Kurdistan region, they don't have the political clout they used to have anymore. They've relinquished that by not doing things. So it says here the official source in Kurdistan region revealed today on the 18th upcoming meeting that will take place next week between the Prime Minister Shia al-Sudani and the Kurdish oil companies. The mediation of the American ambassador Alina Romanowski. What are they going to be doing? It's basically for the purpose of ensuring financial dues after the oil sector in Kurdistan entered in what they call an unknown tunnel. I'm not really sure about what that means, the unknown tunnel, but it sounds to me like there's been some muddying of the waters of how this is going to go down. But remember one thing is that Kurdistan has been given court orders to play by the rules, international court orders. So it says the Kurdish oil companies will meet next week with the Prime Minister Shia al-Sudani, along with the ambassador Romanowski. And basically the reason for the meeting is al-Sudani wants to preserve the financial dues of these companies, their wages, in the new agreement between Baghdad and Erbil on oil. So in fact, he's reiterating there is a new agreement, and it's likely because of the fact that Erbil has abandoned their circumstances in the region when it comes to this. So it goes on to say, this is the Kurdish oil companies in the region have not received their financial dues as well as their monthly wages since September of last year. It sounds to me like the reason why they're not getting them is because they haven't changed the value of their currency, because they haven't valued all that oil. They haven't valued their assets. We've talked about that in the past. It's my view that a rate is needed. Our rate should be coming, and that's why they haven't paid the salaries. Hence the al-Sudani, al-Alaq, and Taif Sami have all been in the news, as we know from my last video. We talked about them having meetings, etc., and those are ongoing as we speak, or in the next few days, because there's things that have to be done. Al-Sudani's talked about specific timeframes for the projects, to spend money for those projects, the service projects, which is primarily for the citizens, and the operational side and the investment side of things. So basically it comes on, it says the companies distributed the region of Kurdistan by what do? They're filtering, extracting, investing, and selling oil. And so they used to receive their wages from the regional government, but the wages stopped with the cessation of oil export business and the reduction of extraction, while they're now trying to guarantee the payment of the dues and wages in the event that the oil and gas law was enacted, and also if the oil export through Turkey resumes, or if the suspension continues for a longer period. So they're trying to figure out how they're going to go about getting this money. But with this new system set up, they're going to be able to facilitate payments electronically. And we know that the corruption that we've seen, like the theft of the century, those things were able to be captured because of this new system that's in place. It's a information solutions system, so that the data that they're gathering, it seems like the corrupt just can't hide from it anymore. So that's a good thing. It says this new Erbil means that they're doing things different. New Erbil, which made that Kurdish oil sector not isolated from the control of the federal government. So it looks like this new Erbil, so as they call it, is on board with the Baghdad. So look, it's basically, you know, we're seeing the control of Baghdad in these articles with respect to the oil and gas. Baghdad is now not only controlling the oil and gas, there are many other things that they're under their control. The airports, the borders, taxes, tariffs, fees, customs, even the traffic and real estate departments, healthcare and education revenues. I mean, the capital from the municipalities and other institutions, all of those are going to be realized revenues. They're phenomenal. They're going to be income streams, and they're going to go into this unified treasury account. So this is basically it looks like the final steps and purge for them to get to this tripartite budget, which is an operational investment budget for 2022, 2023. And they haven't started spending. We've seen some things that start talking about them spending for a few things, but keep in mind that EFSL for 2022 had money that was left over to pay things, and that was already allocated. So some of the things very well may be just finalizations, still using the same 2022 monies to pay things. So don't be too alarmed to see stuff like that. I saw some people doing that today because the articles aren't explaining exactly where that money's coming from. But we do know that there was an estimated $120 billion USD left over for those projects out of their budget in 2022. So be careful about that, but the bottom line is they haven't done the new projects, and they haven't paid the new salaries, and they haven't done the retroactive budget back to the 1st of January of 2023, nor have they paid the last 3 months of salaries. But yet Taif Sami, the finance ministry, has ordered their people to start work today, tomorrow, and so forth for overtime to get these things done. Again, back to that time frame, she's doing that now and tomorrow, ahead of this next week, where Al Sudani has some deadlines. So basically, thinking is that these guys have to get the rocking and rolling, and I think that's where we're at. So basically, the Unified Treasury Account, is it in place? I believe it is. What's it for? It's for the deposits and the revenue streams for all the people to be accounted for, all under one roof, if you will. So there has been exposure for those corrupt people. This new account system, it should take care of that, and that's what they're going to have to do with it, deal with it, whether they like it or not. It's just part of the process. So basically, you know, like that deal of the century, they got hammered. I mean, they found $2.5 billion worth of, or somewhere between 3.7 trillion dinar that were stolen. So Al Sudani, Taif Sami, Al Alak, this weekend into next, they could easily be very, very vocal. But what we have seen is that they have control, the control over the borders, control over the taxation. They've got control. The GOI has control over the oil and gas. So all of those money and revenue streams appear to be under the control of Baghdad, and not just Kurdistan and Baghdad, but it looks like they've made inroads on this. Here's a powerful quote. Parliamentary power, the Kurds have abandoned their political conditions with the oil and gas law. So you can come into my Patreon, Militiaman and Crew. You can just do a little search, parliamentary power, and you'll find the article that's in. There's obviously in this particular post, it's just one of the last ones I've done. The oil and gas law legislation will be decided after the decision of the International Court in Paris. So this is going back in time, but it's just reiterating what I just stated. It's giving credence to, and giving support for my work. And then here's a comment. It says it's noteworthy that the federal court ruled February 15, 2022, the unconstitutionality of the oil and gas law approved by the Kurdistan Parliament in 2007, obligating the Kurdistan region to hand over its oil to the federal government. So all of these things are coming to a play. Even though it was that far back in time, we're just now finally seeing the International Court rules. Baghdad and Erbil have a new Erbil agreement. And then basically August 10th, 2023, it says the Parliamentary Legal Committee confirmed that the decisions of the federal court regarding appealing some paragraphs of the federal budget law are binding and final for Baghdad and Erbil. Again, there's another article that suggests all these things that I've been telling you in the news are real. And it's for real. So basically, the last thing is that, look, that single treasury account, a step in the right direction, is another quote that's in articles in our Patreon rooms. It says the application of the unified treasury account system will reduce corruption and will allow the Iraqi government to view the actual daily balance to determine government expenditures instead of distributing these expenditures to more than one account. So they're going to have it in one unified account. As the central bank is dealing with the government bank account balances through the unified treasury account will enhance electronic practices in payment systems, collecting customs revenues, controlling the government spending, and identifying daily, weekly, monthly, and annual revenues for all sectors of the state and institutions instead of accounts specialized in each of these sectors. So they're just going to unify the whole account, get it all taken care of for the citizens as a whole, bring in all those revenue streams, and hopefully all of these things that we just mentioned are effectively exchange rate oriented. The salaries that have to be paid, they're working overtime to get those paid. We're in a really good spot. So I hope everybody enjoyed this little update on a Friday. I want everybody to have a really good weekend, and I know it's going to be I think it's going to be a great one this next week. If we can see these things happen to take care of Al Sudani's timeframes for the projects and the budgets, we should have some exciting news hopefully coming our way. Let's look for it and see what we can do. So thank you for coming here on a Friday. And if you like my content, always please just subscribe. And if you want to help keep the content rolling, donations are greatly appreciated. They really do help us keep this place going. Thank you so much and have a great day. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.